60 minutes avec le groupe légendaire Megadeth!
Après plus de 2 décennies de carrière en musique et un nouvel album, Megadeth est ici dans nos studios pendant 60 minutes.
On va jaser avec eux un petit peu plus tard, mais pour le moment, on commence ça en prestation. Voici Sleepwalker! Restez des nôtres un peu plus tard. Des gens qui se sont déplacés pour venir nous voir aujourd'hui vont pouvoir poser leurs questions à Megadeth.
Et tout de suite après la pause, le groupe est en entrevue. Bougez pas, live à Musique Plus.
Yeah! Megadeth live à Musique Plus, ça se poursuit. C'est vraiment un plaisir et un privilège d'avoir ce groupe légendaire avec nous aujourd'hui. On va aller rejoindre Shelly qui est justement sur la scène avec les boys.
Merci, Reg. Welcome, guys. Welcome. I don't think you can't even hear.
I can't hear you.
Your fans are so happy to see you.
Hello.
This guy's red.
It's gonna explode.
Yeah. Thank you so much for stopping by.
You're welcome.
Very, very happy to have you here. As you can see, your 11th album, United Abominations, is out, and also, I mean, it's kind of weird because at one point we were thinking that we would not have a next album for Megadeth after System Has Failed. So what changed that?
Well, after my arm had gotten injured, I didn't know if I was going to play again, and The System Has Failed was actually a solo record, and I found out in the middle of doing that record for my publishing company that in order for me to go forward as an artist, I owed them another Megadeth record, and I took the risk of changing it back to a Megadeth record. Bottom line is it sounds like a Megadeth record, and I fulfilled my commitment, but then when I met Glenn, we started playing together, and then his brother came into the picture, and we had another bass player at the time, and just playing with Glenn and Sean was so rewarding for me, playing with people again who really love to play music, and just excited me. I started, besides the terrible music that Glenn listens to in his iPod, you know, I listened to some of the stuff, and it really excited me again, because he's listening to stuff like, you know, barbecued babies and, you know, stuff like that. And, one of the things he was listening to that inspired me, actually, I can't believe I'm saying this, was Celtic Frost. And,
wow, yeah.
and we just
Whoa,
got excited, and then James came into the picture, and everything just kind of came together again. So going into United Abominations, it was just a no-brainer. I remember I was in Argentina when I made the decision that we were going to continue on, and as soon as we started playing together, it just felt right when the four of us finally came together for this record.
Okay, it was natural. It was organic.
Organic, yeah.
Well, I don't know. It was just natural.
Yeah, that's a good word, organic.
You just felt it. I don't know. I'm adding to your. But how would you describe this album then? Could you compare it to previous Megadeth albums?
Well, for me, it's kind of a step back in time a little bit because it's more about the guitar and it's more about the riffs. And I've kind of gotten into a period where the record company I was with, Capitol Records, had wanted us to continue to follow the success of Countdown to Extinction. After that came out, it was #2 in America. Euthanasia came out, it was #4 in America. And if you're in a record company, face it, you want to sell records. So if you've got a big dog in your kennel and you're saying, okay, this is a winner, let's continue to make them do the same thing. Well, I wasn't good at being made to do anything. So after a while, I just said, I don't want to do this anymore, and I went back to what I feel the best about, which is kicking on guitar. You know what I mean?
I think many people share this with you.
Yeah, I think so.
They share the feeling. The feeling is mutual. The first single off this album is a new version of À Tout le Monde, and this song was unfortunately linked to a really sad event that occurred here in Montreal last September. And as you know, there was a shooting at Dawson College. And the man who did this attack claimed to be one of your big fans and who had listened to this song numerous times before even doing this act. How do you feel about this?
That wasn't a fan of mine. There's no way. These are fans.
How did you react when you first heard that news?
I was pissed. Montreal has meant so much to me. I remember when you had the ice storm many, many years ago, we'd had a concert and we said, we're going to make all these backstage passes available to the fans if they will bring food and blankets for the shelters because the city was shut down. And me being an American and coming up here when there were Americans in the bands and we didn't have the fact half of Megadeth is Canadian now, but at that point it was all an American band. I did that because I recognized the country and the city and their love for me, and I needed to do the right thing back. So no matter what anybody tries to say about that tragic incident, that Megadeth has got roots here long before that tragedy. It's unfortunate that it happened. These things do happen, but more people die listening to other types of music, especially hip-hop and rap.
Yeah, it's so true. Have you ever thought of what you would have said to him Have you ever thought of what you would have said if he would?
If I would have met
you
that guy, I would have
faced
said, I
him?
love you, you got to change your life, bud, because you're heading down a very bad path. I can't see how anybody could look at this guy's website and see all of the stuff and what he was saying and the pictures that he was showing on his website, and people didn't see this is a person crying for help. I've really made myself accessible to our fans over the years and really got involved in a lot of their lives, whether it's through songs or through our website or through directly calling or emailing them or any of that kind of stuff, because our website and the people who run it are really involved and you know, when we can do community service kind of stuff like that. And I personally believe that this was a person that had issues that were way deeper than music can touch. You need professional help for stuff like that.
Yeah. Going back to the song, though, it's not the first time that it's wrongly interpreted. MTV with the video.
No.
What are your thoughts about that? Why do you think it's so misinterpreted, and how do you feel about that?
Well, I think if you read the lyrics to the song and you know how to read, you can see that there's a line in there that says, I'd love to stay with you all. Now, the guy that's suicidal doesn't love to stay. He wants to go, right?
Right, exactly.
I mean, if I'd love to blow my brains out, that's suicidal. I'd love to stay with you all means, hey, you know what? I'm sorry I died. I want to come back. You know, I had skydived with a guy named Patrick Swayze, a famous actor. He was in a movie called Roadhouse, and he trained at the same martial arts school that I did. And I watched his fighting techniques in there. I thought, I recognize that. And the next couple of days, I'd gone skydiving, and here he is in the same plane I'm jumping out of. Now, that's insane to jump out of a perfectly operating airplane anyways, but I thought, you know what, we have a bond in two different areas. And then he came out with this movie called Ghost. And in the movie, he had died, and he wanted to come back and tell this woman he loved, you know, just he wanted to be there for her. And that's basically what the song's about. If you die, and you have a chance to come back, and you can say one thing to anybody, or you're going to say, oh my God, you killed me, you idiot. Or are you going to say, you know what, I love you, and you know, just kind of move on.
Yeah, make the most of it. Yeah. For this new version, you've also included Christina Scabias from Lacuna Coil vocal on it.
Right.
What led you to collaborate with this woman?
Well, none of these guys' voices were high enough.
Really? Come on. Yeah.
Well, when the song basically got banned by MTV in America, the radio stations in MTV followed MTV2. The radio stations in America followed MTV2, so the song pretty much didn't get its chance. And besides it being a fan favorite and a lot of people identifying with the song, it just really never got the exposure that it did. And living with that, it just continued to eat at me. And I thought, you know what, it would be really great at some point to try and work this song back into some kind of reintroduction to the world instead of just letting it kind of fall on the floor because MTV didn't like it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that they didn't like it, they just didn't want us to use the director that we did, and the manager that we had at the time had tried to trick them and said that it was a different director. They got pissed and banned it. So when the opportunity came to redo the song, I thought, you know, it'd be great to have a duet. And we had a couple of different girls that we thought about, and when Christina came in, it was absolutely perfect.
That's what made it perfect. Was she there in the studio with you? Were you together?
No, no. She recorded it in England. I had gone over there with Glenn to finish up the record with a guy named Andy Sneap, who's a huge metal producer right now, very successful. Hello, Andy. Anyways, and she came in a couple days after I'd left. So fortunately for me, too, because I'm sure that, you know, the way I like to get involved in fixing stuff, I probably would have made it uncomfortable for her.
But I'm sure it was a great experience for her. Did she ever share that with you? Did you ever speak?
We saw her at the video shoot. We were doing it right before we came up to Vancouver. We'd shot a video. Our schedule is so nuts. It's like that, you know, just one day to the next, just nonstop work.
No kidding, yeah.
And we'd seen her. She came at the end of the shoot for us, and then they went back to wherever, and she spent the night in Los Angeles, filmed the next day when we were on our way back to our homes and then up to Vancouver. So we actually were never in the same frame together.
Wow. Okay. Well, do you think your fans are going to like this new version?
I don't care.
Sure they love that answer. That's what they love. Well, speaking of your fans, we have Reg here, who's with one of them for a question for you guys.
Guys, first of all, it is a pleasure to have you guys with us in the studio today. Thank you very much. I think everybody here shares that. I'm with Steve, and Steve has a question for you guys.
Okay.
Hi, Dave. Other than Megadeth, who do you think is a band to pay attention to right now?
A band to pay attention to right now, besides us?
Yes. Other than Megadeth. Other than Megadeth. Yes.
I'm sorry?
Other than Megadeth.
Other than Megadeth?
Yes.
Nobody.
Ask these guys.
Do you concur, guys? Do you concur?
I absolutely agree.
It's unanimous.
Thank you.
We also have another question here, Steve. So we got George that's with us as well. George, what's your question for Megadeth?
How do you think we can destroy all negative stereotype of metal music?
One more time.
How do you think we can destroy all negative stereotype of
Make better metal music. There's too many bands out right now that are successful that suck. They don't know how to play their guitars. No one will play guitar anymore. They tune it all the way down so you can't tell how crappy they play, you know? And they won't do solos because as soon as it's time to do a solo, they're like, oh my God, what do I do? You know? So I think that the most important thing is for you, the consumer, the metal fans, to be more discriminate about who you support. And as far as heavy metal and as a whole, we've become so many different weird little pockets. Like there's goth and speed and thrash and core and black and white and this and that and There's so many different metal groups. To me, just because I'm an old bastard, I look at heavy metal as being like just one big group of people that just really need to be entertained.
That's great. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much, guys. You guys are going to stick around.
Yes,
We're
we
going to
are.
talk to you a little bit more, and also you're going to be performing for us.
Yes, we will.
Thank you very much. Restez avec nous après la pause. Live à Musique Plus, Megadeth.
Megadeth live à Musique Plus, ça se poursuit. Hey, on a du fun! Tout le monde s'amuse. J'espère que vous à la maison, vous vous amusez aussi. Everything doing good? You guys are okay? You guys are all right? Voulez-vous une autre chanson, tout le monde? Voici Gears of War!
with silent weapons and the new world slavery is to keep the people poor and stupid. Now a sort of circle around. How can there be any logic in biological war? We all know this is wrong, but the new world is beating down the door. Oh, something needs to be done. There was a king, an evil king, and the wickedest my dreams and ancient mystery. No prophet could interpret. 7 years of famine, the world was at the doors 50 years ago. Life that was and is no more. Word is the future, tells the truth about the past, about the world leaders with the name of the new pharaoh. Ain't lost king to the throne. Washington is next. Disengage their minds, sabotage their health, and hold sex and war and violence, and the king of God is blame the parents and teachers. New acquaintees. Attack the church dynamic. Attack the family. Keep the public of discipline. Till nothing left is sacred. The have-nots get hooked and have to go to the house. Just a cop of it. I am a king, an evil king. I bring the wicked. My dreams an ancient mystery. No prophet could interpret. 7 empires falling. The world was at my door. It's predicted years ago. Life that was and is no more. The word is the future. It tells the truth about the past. How the world is waiting to usher in the world power to modern Rome. Washington is next. There was a king, an evil king, and the wickedest. Our dreams and ancient mystery. Nobody could interpret. 7 empires falling. The world at my door is predicted years ago. Life that was and is no more. I am a king, and I dream the wildest dream. Nobody could interpret. 7 empires falling. The world is at my door. Oh, life that was and is no more. There's something at my door. Some ancient mystery. The future tells the truth about the past. And on the 8th I'll speak to the throne. Got you in my crosshairs. I ain't got a bitch. Washington, you're next.
Restez avec nous tout de suite après la pause. Megadeth répond aux questions de son public. Bougez pas, live à Musique Plus.
Vous êtes bien à Megadeth live à Musique Plus. J'espère que vous avez. You guys doing okay?
We're great.
You guys having a good time with these crazy fans that came out to see you like that?
Yeah, it's fantastic.
It feels good. I'm going to have my chance to talk to you guys a little bit more, but we're going to let your crazy fans ask you guys a few more questions. Let's go join beautiful Shelly. She's got she's with some fans. I have some questions for you guys.
Merci, Reg. Yes, we have Stefan here who has a question for you guys.
I was just wondering why you decided to choose Argentina for the new DVD that one night to film it.
Well, I can't sit up here and say I have so much integrity if I don't follow through with the things that I say. And unfortunately, back in 2001, before the towers were hit in America, we were scheduled to go down there and play a concert, and we were going to record that. Now, we recorded a long time ago in Argentina. It's a mad audience. I mean, it's equivalent to Montreal, but we hadn't really, you know, the situation for us to come up here and record, it wasn't the same because, you know, it was already set up down there. And frankly, you know, when the towers got hit, we had some cowards on our staff that had said they weren't going. And we can't take a guitar player down there without a guitar tech. Now, it wasn't my tech, so you do the math, you can figure out who the chicken was.
Thank you. We have Max here who also has a question for you guys.
Hi. Après une carrière si bien remplie, est-ce qu'il y aurait quelque chose que vous auriez fait différemment?
Can you answer that one?
No.
After such a successful career, is there anything that you'd go back and change?
I would like to say goodbye to Gar Samuelson before he died. And I mean, there's certain things that I wish I would have done differently, but to be right here with you right now, if I changed anything, I wouldn't be here. So, I mean, it's just one of those stupid Hollywood kind of things. You know, if you go back and you change something, who knows? I could have 10 kids.
Which you don't.
No.
No. Okay, bonjour, ça va bien?
Oui.
Ton nom?
Xavier.
Xavier's here for you guys.
I'd like to know, what's the importance of the artwork and of Vic Rattlehead to the vision of the band?
I guess that's my question again, huh? Sorry, these guys are just sitting here doing nothing.
You know, we learn something new every day. Go on, Dave.
Well, the beginning was Vic Rattlehead. There's a song called Skull Beneath the Skin from the first song. I was thinking about getting a tattoo, so I had drawn this little image of see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil, and had done this elaborate thing. And then I thought, you know what, you don't stick a bumper sticker on a Mercedes-Benz, so you don't, I'm not going to get a tattoo. I don't have a tattoo, and you know, I have nothing against body art, but it was a phase I went through. And then we tried to use it for the first record cover. We were with a record company called Combat, and the artwork came back, and it was a plastic skull with pickles and ketchup all over it, and it looked nothing like my ideas. So by the time we got to the second record, we were with a different record label, and we could afford to do the artwork right and have them see my vision.
All right, well, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Reg, c'est à ton tour. À toutes les questions.
Excellent. Thank you very much. It's my turn to talk to you guys a little bit now. You touched upon it a little bit with Shelly earlier on, talking about the new album that's out now. First record with Roadrunner Records. Talk to me a little bit about why you chose that record company and how it's been since you've been a part of that family.
I think more importantly is how come Case tried for 25 years to get me to sign to him. He was the first guy that ever talked to me when I first decided I was going to be playing music. He came over to Los Angeles when I was working in a rehearsal studio. Megadeth had just started, and I said, no, you live in Holland. You're too far away. You know, if I want to come over there and yell at you, I've got to fly across the Atlantic Ocean. And it's ironic the way that the whole thing has come full circle to where I'm, you know, at this point in my career, I'm with this label. And then there's a lot of labels in America that say they understand heavy metal, and they've got a lot of great bands on their labels, but you know, they're not there for long because they really don't understand the animal that heavy metal is. You know, it's a sense of community that we all have, and we really need to stick together. And when bands start changing and morphing as they grow up and as they get mature with their music and stuff like that, sometimes labels can't understand that. I feel right now we're really understood, and we're with people who, I mean, face it, if you've got Slipknot and you've got Nickelback, you certainly should know how to do something in the middle, where Megadeth kind of falls in.
Yeah. So now was the right time? You're saying, like, it could have happened, you know, 25 years ago, 15, 10, well, now was the right time?
It probably would have been better if it happened 2 records ago and we never went to Sanctuary, but, you know, you live and learn. I mean, if you can't take a mistake and turn it into an opportunity to make yourself better, then you're not really learning anything.
Time to get the other guys involved a little bit.
Thanks.
You mentioned it quickly just now, but for the people who might not know, there is some Canadian blood in Megadeth. Talk to me a little bit about how that all happened.
Well, for me, There was a couple of guys that had referred me to Dave, just because they knew of some past stuff that I had done, and figured that it might be a good match for the band. I was put in touch with Dave, and then sent him some video material of me playing a couple of Megadeth songs, and he seemed to like what he was seeing, and kind of went from there. So, yeah.
And then along came
Sean.
I came in 6 days before the tour.
Okay.
Totally blindsided, and which actually, looking back, I'm glad it happened that way. Within 12 hours, I was on an airplane to Arizona, and just thrown it right into the situation, and never looked back. And it's been a fantastic ride.
They're not explaining it as good as they should be told. Listen,
Okay.
Glenn, I found through our webmaster. They sent me a video of
I was
Glenn.
actually homeless in Los Angeles.
This is why Dave answers all the questions.
Glenn said they sent me an email of him, a picture of him, and then I saw a video of him, and I thought, this guy's perfect for the band. And then we had a guy named Nick Menza that had tried to come back and play with us, and it just didn't work out because we needed a drum tech at the time, and Glenn had said that Sean had done some drum tech for him when he was in King Diamond. So Glenn and I called Sean up, and Nick is in there, and Nick goes, oh, I don't even want to effing know you. And I just went, oh my God. And then Glenn took me outside, and he says, I can't play with Nick. And I said, I agree, I fired him once. You know, and then we called Sean. He came out 4 days of rehearsal, drove to Reno with me on the 5th day, 6th day. He's headlining in Megadeth, and he tells me after the concert, this is my 3rd show ever. Now, you think I wanted to kill him?
Oh my! Something you don't want to hear before he plays, right? I guess afterwards was a bit better.
No, it wasn't.
No? Been ridiculous. I was wondering, looking back and reading up on Megadeth through all the years, with all the lineup changes and everything that's gone on with the band, what was the secret to keeping the Megadeth spirit alive?
Firing people.
Is it simple
No,
as
I'm
that?
just kidding.
So
I'm kidding.
keeping them would have killed it?
I'm kidding. You know, you need to have a common vision. A car has one steering wheel, and I think when we all have the same vision, we don't tend to start, hey, say, let's take it over here because I want to do things my way because I think I'm more important what the band vision is. And for me, Megadeth is about, a way of life. It's about intensity with music, and it's about saying how you feel. There's a lot of things that happen in the world. I travel a lot. I'm an international musician. I'm not just an American that plays in America. We just got done playing Serbia last year, and who would think you'd go to Serbia after everything that just happened there? But long story boring is that, when you travel this much, you learn a lot of different things, and you really want to take that to your fans, and you want to share with them what your life is. You got to live life in between records, and a lot of people aren't going to be able to go the places I go to, so I want to give that part of myself to our fans, because they've given me a lifestyle that is just a dream.
Okay. I'm going to put you a little bit on the spot right now. I'm going to ask you, right now, in 2007, is this the most comfortable you felt with Megadeth ever, like with these boys, with these
right
brothers
this
of yours?
moment,
Right this
I
moment?
feel more comfortable in my bed at home.
Oh yeah. But you're happy with...
Yeah, this is the happiest I've ever been playing music with anybody. And, I've played with a lot of great musicians over the years, but we have a common bond right now. With the two brothers, there's a chemistry that you don't have to worry about. Oh, these two are going to hate each other, And because one of them has been with the other one since the second he was born, there's that chemistry, so they can look at the other one and just know what they're thinking. And you'll see that when we play, because they just basically are sharing the same brain.
Okay.
Sometimes.
There you go.
And we grew up listening to this kind of music, so...
That wasn't a dig.
So it was easy to adapt to this kind of situation, because we understood the music.
Excellent.
I
read somewhere that your #1 priority in life used to be music. That has changed, and now I think it's faith, family, and then third, music. When did that change come about, and how important of a decision was that for you in life?
Well, it came after my arm got injured, but I've believed in God ever since I was a kid. I mean, this first line of Peace Husband Who's Buying says, what do you mean I don't believe in God? I talk to him every day. So, I mean, a lot of people are making a big deal about this, I mean, I'm a Christian. If I was a Catholic, no one would care. If I was a Jew, no one would care. If I was Buddhist or Muslim, no one would care. But because I'm a Christian, it's like a big deal. What's the big deal? The record sounds great. Who cares?
Yeah. My point more was not being in what order you put these things in, but more like putting, deciding, okay, you know what, music is not gonna be my #1 priority. Family will be there, faith will be there. Do you think sometimes that one of the hardest things maybe about committing yourself 100% to being a musician and being in a band is sometimes putting other things that are important to you in life aside? because you're so much into that one thing?
I think it depends on how good you are at what you do. If you really feed off of the energy of the people you're playing with and the people you're playing to, then it's pretty natural. And for some people that can't differentiate when they're on the stage and they take that step down there and are standing amongst everybody else, I'm just like everybody else here. Just because I play guitar and I sing doesn't make me better than anybody. I'm better than a lot of other guitar players, but I'm not a better person. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I really remember that. I mean, one of my favorites, I love macaroni and cheese. Now, that's not what a snob would eat. It would be macaroni and cheese and caviar, right?
That's it, exactly.
You know, I mean, and I still, you know, I mean, I'm a normal person. I drive a regular car. I live a regular life. And I think that's really important to stay grounded.
You talked about your injury.
Mm-hmm.
Did that change the way you have to organize touring and the physical aspect of playing in a band?
It changed a lot because there was nerve damage done to the inside of my arm here, on the inside of my bicep. I'd had my arm over the back of a chair, and I had fallen asleep, and it cut off the circulation, so my hand was numb. And because I'm a guitar player, and this is the fingering hand, it had gone to sleep, and I couldn't use it. And you know, I mean, I didn't really recognize how much I identified with guitar until I couldn't play it anymore. So I took a little time off, and I figured out, you know, who am I? That's when I developed Gigantor, and I wanted Gigantor to be something beautiful so that I could, again, give something back from my career and the gifts I've been giving back to our fans.
Awesome. You feel like testing that arm out a little bit?
What, like arm wrestling?
No, not at all, because you'd kick my ass. So how about a little bit of playing? Voulez-vous voir Megadeth en prestation? You guys feel like playing some songs? Feel like playing some songs for the people out here? Changez surtout pas de poste. Après la pause, Megadeth en prestation à Musique Plus. C'est complètement malade dans les studios de Musique Plus. Allez, on s'amuse tout le monde! Beaucoup de plaisir aujourd'hui avec les boys de Megadeth.
Ils vous offrent maintenant leur premier extrait de leur nouvel album United Abominations. Pour vous, une nouvelle version de À tout le monde. Les voici.
Don't remember where I was. I realized life was a game. The more serious I took things, the harder the rules became. I had no idea what it cost. My life passed before my eyes. I found out how little I accomplished all my plans tonight. So as you read this note, my friends, I'd love to stay with you all. Please smile when you think of me. My body's gone, that's I'll do it on me. Chosen, so long, my dear. It's all I swear.
Je veux vous entendre. Faites du bruit! Thank you very much, guys. Thank you very much. A pleasure and an honor. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Merci, thank you. Merci à tout le monde à la maison qui nous a écoutés. Merci à vous.